I wish I was Drake Bell. Hi, everybody. Episode 2 of the
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah,
yeah. This will
start
probably
off
be
with a
not as long
bang.
as the last one. I'm just gonna say it right here. It's because we only have two movies to discuss today, and yeah,
We ain't
we
going Mahler on this one, basically.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Walkman.
Oh, anyways, you know what? Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into this one. So we
Mm.
have, not really much notable movie news or just media news that we could really talk about for a long period, I guess. Like, just some
Yeah.
minor stuff here and there, but, like, who knows? We'll talk about that
Kennedy got
another day.
assassinated, but nothing movie-wise we can talk about. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess so. Anyways, so, yeah, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Welcome back.
Yeah.
This is
Our
our second
lineup is
episode.
way better than last week's, at least just to say that much. It probably won't be as much rants since these are,
Yeah.
well, one of them is not a good movie, but these are both not awful movies. One is the opposite of awful, and then the other one
Yeah,
is
these
kind of mid,
movies are
but
definitely
I like
better
it.
than the two films we talked about last
Mhm.
time. So,
Neither have meta
yeah,
commentary either, which is sad. You know,
yeah.
love meta commentary.
So I guess we'll start. So we watched a film called RRR.
Yo,
How about you introduce it? You saw it before me.
yeah.
Yeah. What you think of
All
it?
right. So RRR is amazing. You should all watch it. I just want to get that out of the way right
Yeah,
now.
great movie. Honestly, this is.
I love it so
I was
much.
I was just so surprised to see how actually amazing that this movie was.
Mhm.
How joyous, how fun, how just sad and well portrayed this like type of
Yeah,
time
and could you?
period it is.
Yeah,
It works
and just to
well.
start, one thing that I love about it from the get go, right, is you'd think from everything in the movie, it doesn't seem. It seems like some parts it'd be tonally jarring, right? Like you have this
Yeah.
big dark drama kind of, it's technically period piece since it's like 1920s, but none of it's like historically accurate at all. But you got the 20s time period, you got these epic action scenes that are like a really long, very over the top, and you got all like this deep drama, like these emotional moments here. But then you also have that combined with a bunch of over the top musical numbers and dance sequences that go on for like a long time. And in another movie, I feel like in any other, well, not in any other movie, but in a lot of other movies, that could be jarring. That could be like weird. But the movie does it perfectly, and how none of it feels jarring, and it's all super fucking well done. Because the first bit of the movie, like I want to say the first hour, that's establishing the relationship between our two characters and the situation in general. So it's much less dramatic. So you got, it's just a bunch of establishing. You establish the dynamics between the two of them, and that's where most of the fun parts of the movie is. That epic dance scene.
Oh
That
yeah, I
I
love
love that
that.
scene.
The dance scenes are
Yeah.
great, and honestly,
Mhm.
I think it does a great job at pacing its tone and its story
Yeah.
despite its long runtime. Because like, I think that you can easily at times this type of humor might not be able to blend with the type of time period that the movie takes place in and the type of like serious crisis that was happening, racism and all that. But like here, it kind of blends well because the movie starts off with this type of lighthearted yet serious tone, and it helps lure you into
Mhm.
this world, and like
Yeah.
the harsh reality of it, and the movie is still
Mhm.
aware of that. But it also
Yeah.
shows that there is still like life is not always gloom in this type of period. There are still
Mhm.
moments where like we can
Yeah.
find lightness in these dark times, and I think it's a good way of portraying that. It has like this like bombastic fun filled feeling to it, but then the movie starts
Mhm.
to get darker and yet more compelling as it goes
Mhm.
along, and it blends its tone really well. I think
Mhm.
that's the best part of it. I think it just works really well by that. It's just
Yeah,
I
exactly.
appreciate it, and despite the movie's long run time being like 3 hours long, I think it's well paced. Like I never thought there was like a scene or anything that felt like it was wasting its time, because it all did a great job at endearing us to the main duo. It was all
Yeah, yeah.
interesting, had great music,
Hmm.
and just was just really well told in general. It told the story really
Yeah.
well, and I can
Mhm.
just appreciate that a lot. You know,
Yeah,
I really
exactly.
liked it. Like they
Yeah, and
take
one
these
thing. Yeah.
duos, like this
Hmm.
popular duo in history,
Hmm.
and then like
Yeah.
turning it into this
Yeah.
real movie type story, and like
Mhm.
actually, and like, having a nice feel to it, making them a
Mhm.
generally just likable and enjoyable duo. And when they actually have a falling out later in the movie, you actually feel for them.
It's so fucking emotional. Like I think I cried during like that part. It's like
I
because
felt sad as well. Yeah.
just to say what I think about the movie. It's what I do like to go back to the tonal change. What I do like though is it's the what helps with it not being out of like nowhere completely is they do open with the whole kidnapping scene, the girl getting separated from her family. So you know that the dark stuff is coming. It just
Oh
that
wait,
they
wait,
spend
wait,
the
wait,
first
wait, wait.
hour of the
Spoilers.
movie.
Did it's spoilers?
Yeah, we can.
Uh,
Oh yeah, we can spoil this.
yeah.
But they spend all that. It's supposed to like because after like that opening scene, the rest is just establishing the like I said, the dynamic between like our main duo here, and and yeah, it's all like purposeful because then you got all that establishment. So like when you get to the part where they eventually have to fight, because the one guy has to try to save the girl, but then he doesn't
mm,
want that to happen. So like because of like their two different sides, they have to eventually fight over that. It's so heartbreaking because you see they're really they have like such a strong dynamic together. They're such good friends at the beginning, but then it all falls apart in like the middle, and yeah, it's so tragic. But I love that. It's so fucking good.
yeah, I like the
And
way
yeah.
they meet as well. It's kind of like just a funny thing. Like he sees this guy who is just like standing there at the top, and
Mhm.
they both work together to save this one kid, and they ended up throwing a relationship over it,
Yeah,
and it
yeah, it's
works
nice.
well. It feels
Very
genuine,
wholesome at the
and it's
beginning.
wholesome.
Hmm.
It's
And
just nice. It's
mhm.
funny. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just fun. I don't know.
yeah.
Like, there's so much good dance sequences. Like, you got this
Hmm.
amazing music and score.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the score though, all the songs
the
in like the
songs are
musical numbers, they're
bangers.
amazing.
Just so good. They just add this nice feel.
Hmm.
They help you lure into this world, only to just immediately take this like even darker tone, just like
Hmm.
right out
Yeah.
of the gate.
Oh, and
It's
also
just wow, wow.
another thing,
What
I
happened?
could see the action in this movie, and then it has action. That's another thing. The action, like the musical numbers, they're extremely over the top, especially the
Yeah, I
initial
love it.
break in with all the animals and everything. Yeah, I could see that also feeling jarring, but no, that fits perfectly as well. It's so I hate to just say epic because it sounds fucking lame,
It
but they're
is
but
epic.
they're so cool and they're so like big and bombastic. It's so well done. It's
Exactly.
amazing.
Like it's like, well, it's really well directed, and yeah,
Hmm.
that's a good way to put it. It's really well directed. Like the dance scenes are
Hmm.
great. I think the film looks really good and just captures the type of tone the movie is going for really well. And it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, and honestly, I just love how the movie just deals with this type of like serious subject matter and themes. It does a really good job
Hmm.
with it, because like there's this amazing beautiful scene in the movie when one of the main characters, he is like strapped down, he is
Oh yeah,
basically
that
almost
scene.
he's about to die, and the best way he can survive is if he like kneels and just like almost apologizes for his actions, but he doesn't. Instead, he is taking a stand against these England.
You
I can't
British.
speak. I can't speak. Anyways, he's taking a stand against them, and instead, while he's getting whipped to death, while the other duo. Honestly, we should learn their names. I don't know. Their names are Indian, so I'm just gonna search up their names, and since they
Oh,
call each other by their last names, let's see. What their
they're
names
Drake and
are.
Josh.
No.
That's their name.
Oh yeah, another thing. This this episode is about a lot with duos. We got
We call this
we
the
got this
duo
movie.
episode.
And it's episode 2. Wow.
You know, it's perfect.
That was just a
It's
weird
like poetry, it
coincidence.
rhymes.
Yeah,
It's like my favorite.
yeah.
Mhm.
There's their names are Beam and Raju. So let's just call
Yeah.
them that. Beam and Raju. So
Mhm.
Beam is getting strapped down. Um he's basically getting whipped to death. And what does he do? He serenades us with that like
Yeah.
amazing song that the girl was
That
singing in
song,
the
that scene
opening.
is so powerful. Like
It's
on
just
that,
like
like what?
it's just
It's so.
beautiful because of the performances,
Mm.
the passion, the amazing music, the fact that everyone stands with him, rebels. It's just
I don't know.
beautiful.
I feel like it could be cheesy, but like it's so powerful. Like all it is.
Yeah,
Like
and the
they're like
movie.
literally just all fighting up. Like they're just all rising up against these like these evil people, I guess. And I don't know. It's so emotional and like
Yeah,
well done, and the
and since
music and
they make them
everything.
as unlikable as possible, you
Hmm.
cheer for the protagonist more because you know that these guys are these like this couple are racist assholes who have basically bullied and tormented these poor innocent people who basically kidnapped a girl just because she can sing well and are now forcing her to live away from her family and forcing her to sing and and literally willing to make the girl just watch the death of her brother. It is so messed up, and yet just seeing him just like rebel against that is really beautiful. You know, it
Yeah,
just works. It's
I
really
love that.
empowering, and it's
Yeah,
uplifting. It has such a great feeling to it. It's well
yeah,
paced. It's well written. You really buy the main characters and their connection because like they just work really well. They're both really overpowered. One of the guys like killed a tiger single-handedly,
yeah.
basically single-handedly. The other guy just killed just a bunch of people. He's like this like badass who is literally trying his best. He is doing all of this. He's working for the villain just so he can just so he can bring guns to his family and rebel back at them, get like for revenge. It's like it's interesting. It's a nice twist, and it makes the
Yeah,
characters feel more connected. It's a very genuine way of making them like
yeah,
back together, realizing they have like similar motivations, and you can tell that there's like heartbreak and betrayal. It's like a genuine betrayal, and like
yeah.
it's
The
just
scene
like
where he like
it's so
finds out,
sad.
and like, the scene where he finds out the other guy's intentions. That part is really
That
good. And
part
then
is
like
so
we
well
already talked
done.
about the
It's
falling, and
heartbreaking seeing
it's
like
amazing.
the look in his eyes, just the score just working really well. And then there's just the climax is just straight up a blast,
Oh,
you
the
know, with all
climax,
the
yeah. That
arrows.
to go
You
back to the action being over the top. That part's definitely like it just kills it's like
They just
dozens
kill
of
so
people.
many people.
It's
Like you
so
just
many people.
and then they bring the
But it's a
motorcycle back.
satisfying
The
scene too, because after their betrayal, after all that heartbreak, all that like time like apart, they're finally like back together. They're like united and like
Yeah.
finally beating these fucking people, and it's so satisfying from like a narrative perspective. And then the action, it's all really good. The CGI is great. It's all really well done. And I think if I had to put the movie in one way, it's I just to describe it. It's the movie's very grand in scope. I guess that's what I'll call it.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah.
obviously it's 3 hours long, but which I understand. Like not everyone's gonna have the time to put on a 3 hour drama. But it earns. It's like I said. It's very over the top. Like it's telling this great like deep tragic story about this friendship that breaks apart and comes back together. And then you top that off, like I said, with these big gigantic action scenes where it's so like huge, with these big bombastic amazing like perfectly put together musical numbers. You put all that together, you get this extremely grand and huge story, and it's amazing. Like seeing it all come together, it's it's
Yeah.
genuinely like amazing to behold. Like if you had audio of me watching this, I think I audibly said, "How is this a real movie?" Like
Yeah,
twice.
I
I was
was I
so
was
happy
cheering for the
watching.
main characters. I had a giant
Yeah.
grin and smile on my face.
Oh, the ending musical number. I was so
That was
happy.
so joyous.
I
It
had the
brings you
biggest
back
smile
into
on
it.
my
You feel
face.
so satisfied that that the villains have been defeated. You got the main characters, they're finally able to live happily with their families. I mean, they didn't solve racism or anything, but
Yeah,
like
they didn't.
they did what they wanted to do. And you know, just very satisfying. All their suffering, hard work has finally like paid off for this 3 hour runtime that is really justified and always keeps you
Yeah.
entertained throughout
Yeah,
their
I didn't
main
even
character's
feel it
journey.
that much. Like I watched it
Same.
almost all in one sitting, but I had to I had to like stop for a bit during the last 20 minutes to go do something quickly. But I watched it almost all in one sitting, and even though you're like obviously aware of its runtimes, it's like a lot happens. I think the title only shows up like a half hour in because all of the establishment in the beginning, so it doesn't show up until later. But
I
yeah,
know
it's just
some
even
movies
though
do
you're
that.
aware it's long, it doesn't drag at all. Everything is purposeful. Everything is important. It adds something. It's just so good, man. I can't get over how good the movie
Yeah,
was. I
yeah. It
Yeah.
just yeah. Also, I was looking this up because it was something I was thinking of while watching the film, and like, what does water and fire represent in the movie? So like, they're the key elements. They're
Oh yeah.
influenced a lot throughout the movie. Um, so according to this, it seems that each of them are like opposing elements, right? One
Well,
can
yeah, because
destroy the
water.
other, but like if they come together, they perform this power, this steam, like this force upon the
Mhm.
world, and you know it works because it's like a good way to establish the main two characters in terms of and it also is cool because it justifies like the type of like just exaggerated action with like how just like insane it is, and
Yep.
it's just so epic, you know, it leads to
Yeah, I
so
love
much
it.
epic action
So
in the
good.
movie. Who cares if it logically doesn't make sense, because I feel like
Well,
the
no,
movie is almost like
I think most of it can. Well, some of it kind of doesn't make sense, but for what the movie's going for, it works well. Like I
yeah.
said, it's intentionally supposed to be this big, grand, like magnificent story. So yeah, obviously, if it's like that, it seems like it wouldn't fit with like the emotions of the story and everything. It seems like it wouldn't, but it all comes together like almost perfectly. It's magnificent.
Yeah, to me that's like almost like the best way I think people can like you should like paste your emotions, like the tone in a film, and I think the movie does that well.
Hmm.
It works well. It lures you in with this like happy, bombastic tone to help endear you to the characters. So when something terrible happens to them and they end up facing the harsh reality that they live in, you end up feeling generally sad for them. Like they
And
end up
you
growing
feel
apart
awful for
over the
you kind
course
of
of the
feel awful
movie.
for both of them, right? Because on the one hand, the one guy, he doesn't want to betray him, but he's not just gonna let this girl be like kidnapped. He has to go save her or whatever. But then the other guy, he like I don't know, like you kind of feel bad for him too because he's kind of stuck in this situation where it's his job. He kind of has to stop him, but they had such
Yeah.
a good friendship. You really get, and obviously because he comes around, he clearly didn't want to break off this strong bond they had, but like he kind of had to under the circumstances. Like I said, it's heartbreaking. So it just
Yeah, it's just
I
such a
love it.
fun experience. It's just such like an entertaining, charming, enjoyable, emotional experience. It's very empowering.
Hmm. Yep.
It just works really well. It's just like just what it
Bravo.
just didn't expect to this random Netflix movie just to come out of nowhere, and just like become this amazing cinematic
Oh yeah.
masterpiece.
I forgot that this is technically a Netflix original.
Oh
Like,
yeah, this is, it doesn't feel like
wow.
something they would post on their add to their
Yeah.
streaming
It mops
service.
the floor with all of them. Like nothing comes close. Even the good Netflix originals. Like
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
Think about this. Netflix released this the same year as Marmaduke. So,
Oh yeah.
let's just say Netflix might be a bit inconsistent in terms of quality.
Hmm. Yeah,
It
let's
can
all
either
cancel all of our animated projects except Marmaduke. Okay,
hell
bud.
yeah. How did that even
Cool.
how you know what, that's a whole other 2 hour video altogether. One day, maybe
Marmaduke,
one day
yeah,
we'll do the Marmaduke movies if we feel
mm,
like it. I don't know.
perhaps.
We don't know. I don't think we will have
Probably
enough.
not, but you never know.
Yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, it's interesting. Netflix can either make like this amazing deep movie, and they can make something like Cuties or
Mm. Oh, yeah,
He's All
literal
That
pedophilia on
or
the website.
Marmaduke.
Okay.
Yeah, we will never watch that.
No, we're never
Like
doing
we said
cuties
in
or
the first
anything like
episode,
that.
we will never just
Yeah.
never do that because just
Hmm.
a huge list of reasons of why we
Yeah,
will
I
never
don't.
do
We don't want
that.
to. I'm not going to elaborate on why we should talk about cuties.
Exactly.
It's
Back to this
cuties.
movie. Back to good movie. Back to good movie.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just such a fun movie. When I finished it, I was all like, wow. I'm gonna have a hard time talking about why I love this movie so much. And honestly,
I was
it just
blown
like
away.
it was just there's just something about this movie just that just like that just it's just such an epic, well staged, fun action, compelling movie. It's almost like everything I could want in like a movie, And it's like at
Yeah,
times
that. It's a good way of putting
it
it
could be
too.
funny, but it could be funny in like a way that like maybe something like Whiplash is to the point when it's like so
What kind
exaggerated
of?
to the point like when you start laughing like Fletcher in Whiplash, he just gets so angry to the point when you have to just start laughing at just how
Well,
pissed
Whiplash
off
is
he
kind of
is.
funny in like a scary way, right?
Yeah,
That's like
yeah. This film
because
is
you.
like funny in like I guess a different way, but like
I
in an
say
almost
well, I
similar
say
way.
it's funny because it's kind of funny in a way where like there's not really a lot of intentional jokes, but it is kind of like it's kind of morbidly entertaining a way when like
Yeah.
I said the dance scenes they're amazing, but like it is kind of funny in a weird way where it's so over the top and grand and like all the dances and everything. That's kind of funny in a way, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's all so good though, bro.
It's just so fun. It's just such a
Yeah,
good, just such a delightful fun movie, It's
yeah.
like it's something I would actually want to rewatch again.
Yeah,
And
I
I
don't know. I won't
love
have the time to for a
yeah,
while, but
yeah, obviously
there's
we have
not
to
enough
manage.
time.
There's not enough time. You guys probably you might not know that reference, but let's just say
I'm
we'll
working.
we'll talk about it next episode or
Yeah,
yeah. We'll talk about it next
yeah.
time. But
Uh,
yeah, I just really enjoyed pretty much almost everything about this movie. Do you have any
yeah.
like major? I didn't have any
I don't
major
think I have
issues.
any issues,
I guess
and
like
if
there
there are
are.
any issues, it wouldn't. Like the only issue I could find with someone is like it's not even about the movie. Like I said, it's just because it is like that long that people wouldn't have time to watch it regularly. But I wouldn't say like we said, the length isn't the problem at
Yeah,
all.
the
It's just
pacing
making
is
time
really
for it.
good.
That's why it took months to watch. Like I had heard about it months beforehand, but it obviously took me a bit to watch it. I only watched it like I think like a week ago at this point. But yeah, it's worth all of it. I
Yeah,
cannot I
I
cannot
was just
recommend this
blown
movie enough.
away. It's like the main two characters just have amazing chemistry. You believe their bond, and when they come together in the ending, it's just so powerful. I nearly cried. I was so
I think I
engaged in
cried
this
multiple
movie.
times. It's
I was so engaged. I was like, yes, yes,
yeah,
fuck yeah.
I was
I
so
love this
engaged in
movie.
this. I like
I enjoyed it
I
so
think I
much.
audibly said like I was. It's probably kind of embarrassing looking back on it, but at the time, like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, no, no, no. I was like, yeah, yeah. I was like audibly during some parts.
Woo! Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go,
yeah. Which yeah,
baby.
it's kind of funny in retrospect, but like yeah, I think it's a testament to the movie. It's that investing, and like you said, in a positive way, it's kind of everything I like about movies kind of rolled into one in a way.
Yeah.
It's just that good,
I guess if I can
and I
think of a
love it.
small issue, I mean, like, I guess the animal CG doesn't look that good,
Mm.
But like I
And
don't know, man. There's like a
I can
charm
forgive
to it,
that.
and almost
There's
some
not
way.
it's and
I
it's
don't
not
know.
there's
It never
we've
really
had worse
bothered me.
CGI this year, I'll say that
Yeah,
much.
they're not in the movie enough to bother me. Plus, it does lead to some
Yeah,
really
the
cool
animals are really
scenes.
only in that one
So
action scene and then kind of during the
I think
end.
the
But other
movie
than that,
generally like looks good. Like the whole set and like city design
it's
definitely like
so is
portrays this.
I don't know how to describe, but the way it's shot is also so
Yeah, it's
nice.
really
Like
shot
the,
well. Like good shot
it's so
composition.
visually appealing. Like
Yes, very
yeah.
appealing and definitely works for the style of story they're trying to tell with
Mhm.
this. And another thing I like about the Bond is that we get this probably one of the best montages in a movie when we see these characters like growing and bonding. It's so wholesome. And then
Yeah, like
you see Raju, he's helping him because he's in love with
yeah.
this British.
That's just really wholesome. Like the
Yeah,
like all
I
that at
find
the
it funny
beginning.
how like he literally like throws needles on the street just so like she will have to pull over. You
Yeah,
can
it's
tell they
kind of it's like
bonded over
overly
something.
complex, but it's
It's
funny.
just funny. It's just
Yeah, and it's wholesome. It helps develop their bond. It's kind of like it's like a realistic friendship in a way. Like it's the kind of like the kind of dumb shit or like stupid banter you'd get into with like an actual friend or something. It's like
yeah,
it's kind of
exactly. They act like
yeah,
real trustworthy
it's
friends.
like it's realistic in that
They
way.
show
Yeah.
so much genuine care for each other. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, when Beam did not want to tell Raju about like why he was like here and how he didn't actually live in the town and why he was there to
Mhm.
save the girl, like he
Mhm.
just wanted to protect him. He didn't even know that he
Yeah.
was the guy who was assigned to kill him. And then when he
Mhm.
hears that, he's heartbroken, but yet he feels like he has no choice but to do that
Mhm.
because like we
Yeah.
realize that later. At first we think he just wants to really become like like I guess like a general or whatever. I kind of forgot, but
Mhm.
like he wanted to become something like that. But then it realizes that like he actually wants to like just like help his his
Yeah.
like
Just help his people
family, his friends,
basically.
his people.
Yeah.
He wants to
Mhm.
do what he does, and yet he
None
questions
of
it.
them are like they could have easily made like Raju like obviously they have to break apart, but like I said, he never feels like he's like a generic like he never feels overly malicious. Like yeah, he is malicious, but he's not like an evil guy. He's just kind of stuck in these circumstances, right? Where this is like his job. He's assigned to kill him, put a stop to him, and like yeah, it's not right. It's sad that he has to do it, but
Yeah,
he's kind of stuck in this situation, which he obviously breaks out of later. When he comes back, he like saves him and everything. But yeah, like it is such a tragic story at the beginning, and it's all the better for it because by the time you're at the end of the movie, you're at that big ending, bombastic ending. It's just so nice. It's so wholesome. I love it
yeah,
so
so
much.
much great payoff during that amazing climax and just dance number in general when we see the
Yeah,
characters finally able to achieve their goals and it's beautiful, so well done.
they
I
did it.
adore it. It's just
We did it, Patrick.
so good. Just amazing. Great movie.
Mhm.
What was I
Love
gonna
it.
say? Yeah, I also like how like Raju's an actual person. He's just like he thinks about him basically betraying his best friend, and I like how they
Mhm.
both like learn something from each other. Beam seems like a guy he wants to help other people. He wants to help. He really wants to save this girl. But they both like put off time from their jobs to hang out with each other. They feel like real people because they
Mhm.
are.
Yeah,
It does this
like realistic. Like
this
it's a
sad
realistic
time. It does it
portrayal of
justice. It does
mhm,
it really
like
well.
an
It blends it
actual
in a really
realistic friendship, right?
well paced,
Yeah.
believable, engaging story that works really well.
Yes.
And then like
Wow.
God, it's so
That's
good.
good.
It's like it's so well done, and like Beam just seems like more innocent, and once he realizes how they're like continuing to like torture this poor girl, she ends up becoming more consumed by what he has to do, and he realized what he has to do. So yeah, he ends up breaking in there, and when he's like forced to apologize for his actions, he doesn't, because that would prove them right that they
Yeah,
are
because he didn't do anything wrong, really. It's just that obviously the system that's stuck in, he's like gonna get punished for that. But really, he shouldn't. Obviously, he's in the moral right. So yeah,
yeah, he's in
like
the
I said, that
moral
scene.
right, because if he did kneel down, then he would prove them wrong, and he would prove them right. I meant, like, they would consider them slaves. But if he stays up, he is proving them wrong, and it's such a beautiful, impactful, scarring scene, and it's amazing. Probably my favorite scene in the movie. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I
This
think my
movie is
favorite ending
phenomenal.
scene just might be the ending because of how like
God, there's so much good
climactic and
scenes in
great
this
it is.
movie. I kind
Yeah,
of
there's
want
a
to
lot of
rewatch it.
amazing scenes.
I
I don't
already
know
want
if
to
I could
rewatch
watch
this
the movie.
movie. I know it's 3 hours
Yeah,
long, but I can't help but
when I
rewatch
have
it
the
again.
time, I do want to. It
Yeah,
just it's
it's
so good.
easily, it's my favorite film of the year,
And
easily.
definitely, like, there
It's
are other amazing movies from this year.
I think
Everything,
Everything
Everywhere,
Everywhere
All at
All at
Once,
Once. Yeah, that's
Bullet
like
Train. Yeah,
that's a good close.
yeah,
Everything
those are
Everywhere
like
All
my
at Once
top
is
three of the
close.
year. This, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and Bullet Train. All those great. Check them out. But this is like top tier. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much
basically everything I
everything.
love about a movie in like a 3 hour package. It's
Yeah.
that great.
Yeah, it combines its tone beautifully. It has great characters. It has a nice joyous feeling to it. I love the scene when we see Raju's sad backstory of his family dying. It is
Mhm.
so sad and scarring, and
Yeah.
it makes you care so much about his character
None of
even
them are
more.
one dimensional. They have even like the people who are supposed to be bad, they're not like one dimensionally awful. And like none it's like I said, they feel like real people as over the top and as bombastic as the movie it is, they all feel real. And that's what's great about it. You don't it's just so good. I
Yeah,
love it.
I
Yeah.
love it. It's the best. It's a great bro movie, like just
Yeah.
this just great duo. Probably one of my favorite duos in a movie. And yeah, and honestly, I know they're like just like in general an iconic duo in terms of like history and all that. But like they're good in this movie as well. I was just like I did not. I just heard like that this film was amazing, so I was really excited to finally watch it. And then I was all like, "Wow!" It was somehow even better than I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be. I enjoyed it so much. I adore it. I adore
Yes.
pretty much almost everything about it. Everything comes together beautifully to create this cinematic masterpiece. And as of now, the best film we have discussed on this podcast.
Yep. I don't know how much longer
We
I don't
don't
know how
know.
much, depending on how much top tier masterpieces we end up discussing. I feel like it will be for a while though. RRR, what, 10 out of 10. Perfect.
Very solid.
Love it.
Watch it. Just
Love it.
watch it. Do we have anything else to say?
No, I think we covered it pretty well
Yeah, yeah.
actually.
Honestly, it's a
Yeah.
film that like I just really enjoy. It's just such an easy movie to like in a lot of ways, and that's why I don't know objectively if this is this movie's perfect, but I'm going with my heart.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 from the bottom of
Same.
my heart. 10 out of 10
10.
right now. I love
I
it.
can't think of anything like personally that even holds it back for me. Like it's just
Yeah.
everything I love about it. And yeah, RR, very good film.
Yes,
Please
watch
watch.
it. Just watch it right now. Watch
Yeah.
it. I really hope if you haven't watched it, you didn't watch the spoiler segment.
Well, yeah, because I wouldn't want any. I would. Oh, that's another thing,
I
though.
mean,
I guess
did
I
we
can't.
spoil that much?
I guess I can't say not to go into it blind if you have listened
I
to this.
kind of
But I
went
really
into it
hope.
blind.
I really hope if anyone does watch it, they go into it blind. Because
Yeah.
I knew the base concept. I knew about the dance scenes. I knew about the
Mm-hmm.
duo. I knew the time period. But I knew practically nothing other than that. And going into
Yeah.
that made it all the more powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was very very good. You should watch it right now. Right
Yes.
now. You just leave right now. Watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than the movie we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
I just say.
Sidebar. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think I have anything to say. So yeah,
Yeah,
we
let's
got
just
our
move on.
ratings already. 10 out of
Yeah,
10
yeah.
movie. Please watch it. And
Love RRR.
Let's move on to the film you recommended. Since we're gonna recommend a movie like I guess like every episode, or we'll do like a video game or show every once in a while.
Yeah,
But
depends. Well, it'll
it
vary. Will
depends. It
vary.
depends.
Mostly will be movies, but sometimes we'll throw something else in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I I threw a curveball in there. I could have recommended something really good or really bad, but now I thought this would be weird. First I just wanted you to watch it. I thought it'd be funny, but yeah, we'll be now. I recommend we talk about the 2006 film Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, TV movie for the beloved kind of beloved Nickelodeon sitcom Drake and Josh. And okay. You have not seen any Drake and Josh, correct? To get that.
Nope, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
no.
have not.
I, however,
mean,
have seen all
I
four
might
seasons.
have. I don't know because like
funny.
I remember when I was younger, like here and there, when something like that was on TV, I might have just sat down and watched it. But I could have. I wouldn't remember a single episode. But I'm just gonna say I haven't watched it.
Yeah. But anyway, so Drake and Josh, right? Just to say I'll say some quick thoughts about the show, and I'll be referring to the show a couple times because I think there are some interesting comparison stuff you could talk about. But yeah, so just the show, the Drake and Josh. It's not. I wouldn't call it a great show. Obviously, it's a Nickelodeon sitcom. You're not expecting high art. A lot of the plots, especially in seasons 3 and 4, a lot of the plots are just really nonsensical. They don't really, kind of like this movie actually, but a lot of the plots don't really add up much. And yeah, I wouldn't call it a great show at all. But I do think it's really strong in like at least character aspects. Drake and Josh in general, they're a really strong duo. They play off each other really well, and I just think that's why I enjoy the show as much as I do, even if it's not a great show. And to get to this, the first thing I want to say about this movie, now that we've established that about the show, is the weirdest thing. And I watched this movie once, like a month ago, before I saw any of the show, just for the funny, I guess. And originally I thought this was a positive thing, that there was no laugh track. Like the show obviously has a laugh track to Nick sitcom. But here, I think it feels off, just to say that much, right?
Yeah.
Like, the jokes, most of the comedy, like the one-liners between Drake and Josh, like even random people, they're styled in the same way as the dialogue is on the show, like the witty back and forth, the kind of like the quick punchlines. It's kind of it's in the same vein, I guess, but because there's no laugh track to follow it, it just feels weird, like you're missing something. Yeah. And that's the same with the music too. Actually, the music, I don't know if you noticed this, but coming off the show, there's none of that typical sitcom music. It feels like stock music, actually. Something about it's just off.
Yeah. As for my thoughts, as going in like a basically a complete newcomer to the
And you don't know
Drake
the
and
lore
Josh
like I do.
cinematic universe, I did not really know what to expect going in. I thought the movie was, I think it was fine. I don't know.
It's dumb, but I like it. That's my short thought.
I do think it's dumb in some way. I mean, I haven't watched, like, I never really grew up in, like, in terms of, like, Nickelodeon sitcoms.
Yeah, I never watched
like,
any of the shows until now. I binged Drake and Josh this month for some reason, but yeah.
I watched Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn when I was younger.
You watch Game Shakers, bro?
I think the one thing I remember from that show is that there was this like one episode with like this like robot, and that's all I remember.
Oh.
I remember not liking the show, so
Dan Schneider versus Lore?
I don't even know much about him.
Great guy. But anyways,
like, yeah, it's I haven't watched a lot of these when I was younger. In terms of Nickelodeon stuff, I mainly, I guess, stuck to SpongeBob, because I guess I think
one course.
Yeah, I did not watch a lot of these. So this movie, I thought it was whatever. I had a couple chuckles. I
Hmm.
guess it just terms of like these cheesy campy movies, it's just not really something I would care to ever rewatch again. Like ever
Fair
like
enough. Fair enough.
want to like talk like yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like I want to just like for fun just point out some of the stuff that just doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, you could definitely. This is, I will
As a
say though, the
movie,
plot
it's
is always dumb, but you kind of can pick it apart even more now.
yeah.
'Cause now that I see
Yeah,
it
cuz
twice.
like I guess main issue I have is that like I was hoping this would be like at best like this fun like maybe hopefully Hollywood adventure between these two goofy
Mhm.
teens. And like now that I think about it, it's like they barely do anything with the
It
setting.
kind of
They do nothing
it's
with
not
it
really
with me.
about even though Hollywood's in the title, it's not really about that. At least the setting, like
Yeah.
they go to a hotel at one point, but that's not really cool. They just
They
that
just
happens.
yeah. It's like oh yeah,
Yeah, it's not really
spoilers
about the setting. It's just about this
for this
really
movie.
weird.
This movie
Yeah,
that I don't know. I guess you. I don't know why you would care about spoilers for this type of movie, but
yeah.
like if you for
Frank and
some
Josh go
reason do,
Hollywood
then
spoilers, everyone.
yeah,
Catch up on the
spoilers.
war if you wanna, but yeah.
Yeah. It's like yeah, it's like the whole plot starts because for some reason these grown adults are letting their 11-year-old daughter
Oh yeah,
go
I wanna.
to go
That's so
to
weird.
go
Like I understand, like hey,
what?
like I don't understand how like the 11-year-old daughter, she's expected to navigate the airport on her own on the other
Exactly. I mean,
end.
I guess that's
Which
why
I guess
Drake and Josh
she
bring
kind
her
of
to the
does for
airport.
some reason, even though that's kind of dumb. That's just kind of Megan's character in the show, that she's weirdly smart for like a child. She daily abuses Drake and Josh.
Okay,
Luckily, that does
yeah.
not happen in this movie.
I guess
But
she's usually this annoying and why I didn't
well,
like her.
actually, funny thing, I think she's better in this movie than she is in the show. Because
Oh,
in the
really?
show,
Oh, God.
her whole character is that she tortures Drake and Josh. That she tortures Drake and Josh for no reason,
Oh,
and she doesn't get in
God.
trouble for it. So it's really annoying. But here, she actually has a reason for being mad at them, since
Yeah,
they're the
true.
dumbasses that got her sent on the wrong flight. She doesn't even really get mad. She's just kind of like mildly annoyed
Yeah,
at
I
them.
still found
But
her like
yeah.
I find it funny how like when she was just like on the plane, like she was just all like she didn't say anything to the pilot. She was all like idiots.
She's so
That was funny.
casual about it.
Yeah.
She's weirdly not like, she's technically mad, but instead of like being freaked out, she's like, "Oh, I guess I'm going to Hollywood now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I
not
don't know
where
what
I
I'm
was
gonna do
supposed to
there.
go."
Also, this is like what's funny is that like what's weird is that like she's able to go to this like what this like hotel, and she's like able to like she's basically in like some mansion, and like is she? I'm just thinking like how much like
Why would they let the
money.
child do that? I don't
I
understand.
mean,
She's like,
I guess like at least in Home Alone 2 when they did something like this, the like hotel staff like thought that there
they're
was
at
like an
least
adult.
suspicious of it. They like
Yeah.
suspect something.
I mean, a
And
lot
here
of
they just
stuff
buy
in
it
that movie
completely.
makes no
Like,
sense, but like, at least there was a reason to that. But here she's just there for some reason. I don't know why. So like I thought this was gonna be some journey of them like going on a journey to Hollywood or something, maybe a road
mhm.
trip or whatever to see if to find her sister.
Kind of they kind of imply that by the name, but no,
No,
the Go Hollywood aspect is really only the end, I guess, because oh, Drake gets to perform his song,
yeah.
which that's also Drake and Josh lore, by the way. They established that Josh asks Drake to be his band manager, and Drake says yes. They keep that in the rest of the show. Josh is canonically Drake's band manager. I just wanted to point that out, since I think that's
Huh.
interesting.
Wait, so does
So.
this take place before the show?
No, this takes place, I think, during season 3. So, like, later in the show's timeline. It's like stuff's been established, but
You
it's not.
study your Drake and Josh lore a
Yeah, yep.
lot.
I know my lore, but
Yeah, it was just
I think
like
that's neat.
whatever. Also, this is like I know some of these criticisms might be weird to point out, but it's just like something that I just thought in my head. And I'm all like
Mhm.
I feel like at least one person, I don't know, should have thought of this. Like
Mhm.
I think it's like the foreshadowing for potential stuff is really
Mhm.
in your face in a lot of
Oh
ways.
yeah,
Like, Josh
like
wants to
Geo,
do
you stole
something.
it from me. It just in his car. Like it would make more sense in the story. They imply that okay, so Josh, no, Drake stole Josh. It's basically an iPod, so I'm just gonna call it that. It's a Geo. I don't know. It's the same thing basically.
Yeah.
So they imply that like Drake stole Josh's like iPod or whatever, and that's why he has it there. Which is why he has it. Which is why it gets swapped with the criminals or whatever. But I don't understand why they just didn't have it. So that Josh just has the iPod in the first, because that's reasonable, right? If you're like a teen, you want to listen to music in like the mid 2000s, you're gonna want an iPod, or you can just have it with you. But no, like they have to go out of the way to be like, oh, Drake just so happens to have it. You're making it more coincidental. And then the villains, like they're oh, the villains, they're so dumb too. Their plan is like a counterfeit money operation. And that is somehow they somehow get the info through this random iPod.
Yeah,
Like
I'm confused
what?
by that. Like, did they
Hmm.
steal the iPod? Did that one guy just
I
have
don't
it?
know, and
They
the
feel
only reason
so
the whole
out of
conflict with them starts
context.
is because Josh is so happening to sit in a spot where these like fat people trip over him, so he drops the iPod and he gets swapped or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's the
I
entire
went
reason this plot happens. And honestly, I did have some laughs here and there. Because I know that's like, I guess that's what I
I wouldn't
expected to
call
somewhat
it
get
laugh
out of
out
it.
loud funny, but like I said, I just like the dynamics. Drake and Josh work
Yeah,
off
yeah,
each
I
other
guess
well.
so. I don't know, man.
It,
This just it doesn't feel like this should have ever like been a movie cuz like it feels
yeah.
like scenes just like it doesn't feel like it would have a
Mm,
usual movie structure. It easily feels like it just could just go through
mm,
like a slightly longer 20-minute episode.
yeah.
It did not need to be a
To
movie at
talk about
all.
that, I know I keep bringing up the show comparisons, but I just think it's interesting. So, like, I guess to bring up the fact connected to the show makes this make less sense, not just because of plot reasons, but Josh's whole things. It's technically an arc, but they only establish it at the beginning, at the end.
Yeah, I was going to
Josh is like
say
writing
talk
this.
about that.
Josh is like writing this essay or whatever about. He says, "Oh, is my life boring or whatever?" And I kind of like. In the context of the show, I don't think that makes sense since Drake and Josh, it gets more over the top in seasons 3 and 4. But even in seasons 1 and 2, it is still a very over the top show. Like, quite literally, Drake goes to the hospital in like episode 2. He gets into a car crash in episode 2. And
Wow.
Josh, like they get involved in criminals in season 1. Like no, they get involved in criminals twice. Like Drake goes to
Oh.
prison once, like twice. They get involved in criminals again in season 4. Like the point is, it's a wacky show, so it doesn't make sense that Josh thinks his life is boring or whatever. Like, what? Whoa, that's just weird.
Yeah, it just like
And
it just like,
it's
and
weird.
it's also just
It feels
really
like
in your
forced in
face.
conflict to just say he
Yeah,
has something in the story.
yeah, it's just
Um,
like also shoved in your face. Like he's like, I can't think of anything like interesting I've done in my life, and then I'm like, I wonder if this journey's gonna be the thing that one interesting
yeah,
thing
it's
he's
so
gonna do in
obvious
his
that it's
life.
gonna come back and
I just found
reflect
that
later.
like funny because how obvious it was in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found that
Um,
funny. It's like I just like
so
I
obvious.
thought that was really
It-
funny for some reason. I don't know.
mhm.
And also like the whole thing with the counterfeit money. The villains just feel so out of place in this movie. Like they just don't work and I feel like in general they're defeated way too easily. Like
I don't think you needed to add like. I'm not saying you. It's like Drake and Josh. This doesn't need to be Shakespeare, but
yeah.
already like in the story, the gist of it could have already just been, our sister's in Hollywood. We gotta go find her, do her. And I know like the movie already presents Megan as competent, so you can't really do a thing where she's in danger. But like, I don't know, you could have had a funny thing where Drake and Josh like stumble around trying to find her, because that's kind of what the show is. It's just Drake and Josh do wacky shenanigans together.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it is. You could have just done that for a movie.
It's like you could have just made it like, I think it would have worked more as this like journey, I guess, in some way, you know?
Or just them bumbling, which it kind of already is. They kind of bumble around, but then like,
yeah,
I don't know, like
they don't
adding
do
in the
anything
criminals
with
makes
the
the
setting.
plot even more contrived, because then you got like I said, the whole iPod thing that's extremely coincidental. That all happens because of that.
Plot
And
convenience.
I don't really quite honestly, I don't know what they really want with Drake and Josh, because all they need is the iPod. If you get the iPod back, what do you need from them now? Like, what? I guess they're gonna tell other people, like, but I don't know. It's not that much. Like, yeah. Also, Drake and Josh, they fall for these random, very malicious-looking people being cops, which gets them captured. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I can kind of forgive that.
Yeah,
but,
it's just like I don't know. For what it was fine, I guess. Like, you know, it doesn't take itself that seriously, and it's like it has some. It got me to laugh a couple times, I guess. It's just like it's like as a movie, I just don't think it works that well, and there's just like much more better like cheesy type charm. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff.
They're better, and I will say though, like even in terms of like the show's dumb, but I think there are funnier episodes of like this isn't top tier Drake and Josh. This is like, I find it interesting since there's a lot of stuff that's different than they do in the show, and there's like it's interesting in that aspect to me. But this isn't the best of the show. The show can do better than this. I know it's weird to talk about something like Drake and Josh like this, but yeah. It's not like even awful in any way. Like it's dumb. I wouldn't call it good, but it is mildly fun at times. It just
I know it's like kind of dumb in some way in terms of its like story, I guess. But like I don't know. It's just like I had some fun with it. I guess it had its moments of charm. It was it just like I just felt like the story just felt almost kind of lazy in terms of like just the bare minimum you could do for like. I feel like there's just probably like other I don't know. I haven't seen any episode of the show, but I think there are other ideas that I think could have suited for this type of extended runtime.
They could have actually. The finale. Other than the Christmas movie, I'll watch that during Christmas. We won't cover it probably, but I'll watch that during Christmas. But anyway, that kind of does the extended. Obviously, it's a finale, so it wraps up what mild arcs Drake and Josh has. But that works better as like an extended thing because it ties into the whole themes of the show and everything. Like the Drake and Josh finale, good finale, unironically. But yeah, that's the only other. I think that warrants more runtime than this. And I don't know. I could think of other episodes of the show they could have extended more than this.
Yeah,
there's
probably.
There's stuff you can do.
I haven't seen like the episodes. I'm just assuming because based off of like the type of story, it feels like out of all type of ideas, you thought this would be like suited for like a movie length. And like you don't even do anything with the setting. It's just like the bare minimum. I think you could have done.
It kind of feels like they just got like. It got like an excuse to do something like bigger because this is like I said, I keep having to say aside from the Christmas special, I can't watch that now. It's not December, but yeah, this is like in the context of the show, like right. This is the only like thing around the time when the show was airing because the Christmas thing came out like a year after the show ended. When the show was airing, this is the only thing that's not filmed in the typical sitcom structure or whatever. It's because like it's actually in like Hollywood or whatever. It's the only thing that's built on like actual locations instead of the same sitcom sets. So I feel like it was just kind of just an excuse for the actors to do something different. You know, like it's this different setting. It's like bigger.
Yeah,
everything.
It's a cool. It's a fun idea on paper.
And I think it's interesting from that perspective too, because that's like the contrast with the show. It's much bigger, much grander. I find that interesting. But like as an actual movie and as an actual story from the show, it's like, it's still not great. So like,
I find that like as an idea for like an episode, it's an okay like idea. But like as for a movie, I think it's just not that interesting of an idea to fill up with like this type of
You
runtime.
could have done like if you cut out the stuff of like the villains and everything. If you just restricted
Yeah.
it to the Finding Megan thing, I think you could have done a 44-minute special on this and not a full
Yeah,
movie.
maybe make it more urgency over Megan
Yeah,
just
like
being
more like
isolated instead of
because
her just
I
hanging
like I
out
said,
in like
Megan's not
some
really a
motel.
character like in the show. She's portrayed as competent. She's not like, and the movie does too. So it's not like she needs urgency. But like you could have had more comedy from that, like Drake and Josh assuming she's all this peril and she's just like she doesn't give a shit at all. Or
Yeah.
that you could have done something with that, or at least made it more entertaining, or more urgency from their perspective. But there's not really any urgency from there because like when they get there, they find the Megan. Well, they don't. They know where Megan is pretty quickly. They call at the beginning. They eventually make it to the hotel. That happens relatively quickly, and then there's the other story that's kind of thrown in with like the counterfeit operation, which I don't know how that works. Sense of stupid iPods or whatever. It's not
Yeah.
great at all.
That was like a weird that was just really thrown in, I
It's so
guess.
weird.
I mean
Like
there's like a
if you're
foreshadowing
gonna
type
do
thing
like
with
a
the
funny plot
TV,
thing where they
but yeah.
swap, why iPods?
I don't
That's my
know. That's
question.
just very specific.
So weird, but
Especially the
yeah,
type of iPod in general. It's just
yeah,
I don't know. It's not terrible.
it's
It's
not
it's just
terrible.
like mediocre, if I'm being
It's
honest.
I don't know if I don't know if I could I can't confidently call it good since the plot is done, but I like I said I think both of us seem kind of harsh towards this since it's easy to be harsh on it considering how like dumb it is. But I did both times I watched it. I do kind of have fun with this movie, even if it is from an interesting where I'm like, oh, that's different from the show. Oh, that's what they do with a bigger budget. Like even from that, I find it a fascinating move. Probably more than the average person finds Drake and Josh Go Hollywood fascinating. But yeah, I still have fun with it. I would not mind watching this a third time, like a couple months, maybe not now. I'll take a Drake and Josh break. But yeah, I have fun. It's just not good. Basically, that's my
Yeah, it was just
short
really, it
synopsis.
was just like, I had fun with it for what it was. I just wish there was more to it, I guess. I don't
Mm.
know. It's like, I didn't expect much, and I guess it was around the quality I was expecting. I just expected them to, I guess, do more with the Hollywood setting, you know? I
Yeah,
guess, I don't know. But like, it's like, yeah, it's fine for what it is. I also found it weird that like, coincidentally, Josh just randomly bumps into this like random
oh yeah,
executive
he
guy in the
bumps into this
room, and for
completely
some reason he
record.
just says yes to this random guy in the washroom, and for some reason he
Oh,
like just
yeah.
trusts
I mean, I guess
this
it works
one
out for him at
guy.
the end because classic. I wish I was
Yeah,
Drake Bell. Drake Bell. He has his
I wish I
he
was
wins. He
Drake
gets
Bell.
actually, that's similar to what happens in the finale actually, where they taught. Well, and there's like a line in here where they mention Drake getting a record deal. He doesn't get it in the show until the final episode because that's this weird other plot similarity thing. Bring up another Drake and Josh show comparison. Yeah, it just there's that part's kind of dumb too. I
Yeah.
kind of like the song, but which is something, but yeah, not great either.
And I don't even. Do we have anything else to say? There's nothing really on.
I don't think I. Oh,
I
actually, I do have
guess.
one thing to say. The part where Drake was singing in the old folks' home and they hated him. I originally thought that was funny because I have the stupid inside joke elderly abuse thing. But one more thing to
What?
bring up, I want to just say this. For some reason, elderly abuse is a common joke on Drake and Josh. I don't know why. There are a lot of jokes in Drake and Josh that involve Drake or Josh accidentally hurting an old person or an old person fighting people. There's like a whole episode where there's a whole I just want to bring this up quick. There's a whole episode in I think season 4 where Josh's grandpa thinks he's in World War II still and
What?
fights Josh's friends because he thinks they're Germans. It's super
What
fucking
the?
dumb.
What?
Yeah, the
I
point
want to
is,
check
I
that
just want
out
to bring that
now.
up. Elderly abuse, weirdly common Drake and Josh trope.
Okay, that is a
But yeah,
really specific trope.
yeah, it's weirdly specific. I know, right? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um. Anyways, yeah, I guess the plane scenes were kind of funny. I don't know why. I just found this like couple arguing just to be funny, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because of the acting, but I just found
Or
that
wacky
funny.
banter.
I don't know. I can understand if you dislike this movie or whatever, but I just thought it was like
If you
it
don't
wasn't
like it, I
bad.
get it. It's very dumb,
I
but
didn't like it, but I had decent fun with it, even though I have a lot of issues with it that I just previously
yeah, it's
mentioned.
definitely a very flawed. I think even more so than the show, because even though the show gets dumb at times, not every episode is off the wall. There are some that make good amounts of sense, and just wacky. But yeah, not great. I
Yeah.
think we can. Do you
It's
want to give
not
our scores
good.
now, or do you have
Yeah,
anything else to say?
not really. It's like not good. I mean, based off of what I said, I might like you might think that I just dislike this movie or something, but I just thought it was okay. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It
Yeah,
was
I'll go 5 too. It's quality wise, you could definitely argue it's a bit worse than that. I just think that it's dumb, but I do enjoy it a fair amount,
yeah,
which is
and
why
it is better
a
than
generous 5
Matrix
out of 10.
4.
A
It is
lucky
better than
movie.
Matrix 4. We said it. It's better
Yep.
than Matrix 4.
Second best film we've discussed so far.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I guess yeah. Guess we'll wrap it up.
Yep.
I don't know. I know this is like a yeah. Well, that was
Thanks
fun.
for watching. I guess
I
we
guess yeah.
appreciate it.
I was I was Anthony,
You
and this
forgot
was
something.
Brian, and
Yep,
this is
that's
now
me.
the ending of the podcast. Now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I missed the frog. Just eat the show. I eat the bug.
yeah.
I
We'll
missed the
see
frog.
ya. We'll see you for the next one. You know what? We're just gonna. Should we say which one we'll talk about next? No.
If you wanna, we will. Actually, we have two things we're discussing next time. You wanna just say them quickly? We foreshadowed one earlier.
Yeah, sure. You know, I'll just say the main one. We're watching Searching next. That's right, Searching, baby. Yeah.
If you wanted me to watch this, interesting. I don't know much about it,
Yeah.
but
You know, it might
And
start
also,
saying the next recommendation just in case you guys also want to
yeah,
watch
in case you're following along.
Yeah,
And
just in
also,
case.
we're also next episode. I don't know if we'll talk about the shorts, but we're talking about the new "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" series. that just dropped
Yeah,
recently.
yeah. So we might not always tell what we're doing next, but we'll do
Sometimes we
it
might
here
just
and there.
genuinely forget, but if we
Yeah.
have it planned ahead, we will.
Yeah, we
But
planned this one ahead. Sometimes we'll keep it up for mystery. This time we'll just say it so that way. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to prepare. I guess
there's
but
not enough time.
there's not enough time. Yeah, that was the reference. If you guys
Yeah.
were keeping up with that.
Just
Anyways,
don't hug me. Yeah.
thank you for watching.
Have a good day,
Bye.
party. Bye bye.